So we're going to go ahead and call to order the City of Beaumont Economic Development Committee for Wednesday, April 11th, and it is 4:07 p.m. I'm going to call roll. Julio Martinez, absent. Mike Laura.
Here.
Present. Todd Parton.
Here.
Kyle Warsinski. Warsinski.
How many ways have you heard your last name?
I cleaned that up. Bernie Ballard.
Present.
Bertha Barraza. Absent. Terrence Davis. Present. Randy Harris. Absent. Jennifer Higgins.
Present.
Mike McGraw. Present. Absent. Rob Moran. Absent. Kimberly Stars.
Present.
Hi.
Hi.
Kathleen Dietrich.
Here.
And Dylan Odell. Here. Okay, so we do have a quorum. Okay, so we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If I can have Councilman Laura please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Sure. Please join me. Place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so looking over our agenda, is there any adjustments or things that we need to address on the agenda prior to getting started?
Yes, sir.
No? Okay. Is there anything on the agenda that poses a conflict of interest for any of the members of the committee?
No, sir.
No? Okay. So we'll start with item number 1, public comments. Is there anyone here to make any public comments to the committee? Oh, Ms. Barraza may want to make public comments.
Oh, sure.
Okay. So Ms. Bertha Barraza is joining the meeting at 4:09. So there's no one for public comments. We'll move on to action item number 2. 2A, approval of minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Higgins, and second?
Second.
Second by Bernie Ballard. We'll take the vote. I'll say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Honorable Chair, I need to abstain as I was absent from that meeting.
Me too.
Okay, so Ms. Barraza, Mr. Laura, and Mr. Davis will abstain.
Thanks, sir.
So motion passes. 7 yeas, no noes, and 3 abstentions. Item 2A, updates on projects from the city staff.
Thank you, Committee Chair. So the first is I promised Committee Member Odell that I would have his name fixed for the agenda, and it was still incorrectly spelled. So we have 2 options. We can either start making him spell it this way, or we can change it for the next meeting the correct way. So I did ask the city clerk that if I put things on the agenda, if she's actually reading them or not, or if I'm just throwing down stuff and it just gets disregarded. So she did apologize, and it will be correctly spelled next time. So good luck, or good news, you don't have to change your spelling of your name. It'll probably be the last meeting too, so it'll be his send-off as we got his name correctly.
I move we change Mr. Odell's name.
So we can,
All in favor?
Aye.
well, I could put that on the minutes for next meeting. He said no, so I guess it doesn't pass unanimous. Name changes have to be unanimous for our bylaws, so.
We're gonna go with something cool like Snoop or something.
Yeah. So the, any other project updates that we have? As I think all the committee members have seen, Petrero was underway, and it's going fast and furious out there. So we're excited about that. We are currently working on the sewer treatment plant, and final design and everything on that has been completed. And the city council will be discussing the rate increase for the sewer rates, I believe, at the next meeting. And that coincides with how to pay for the infrastructure increase on the construction side. So there has to be some sort of adjustment on the rate to be able to pay for the new infrastructure required for the current residents and future residents. That's done through impact fees on everything new, and then current rates for the existing people here. So keep an eye on that one. We're gonna be kicking into gear on the city budget soon enough. We've had one workshop on it. I'm sure you all took your liberty at home to take a look at that on YouTube. And if you haven't, you can go ahead and check it out. So it's still on there if you want to look at the video of the budget workshop #1. I think we'll have a couple more workshops, maybe one more workshop at the least. And then we'll probably get into actual public hearings at the city council level when they'll make decision on budget expenditures and what programs and services we're going to be able to afford for the next year. You can see that certain commercial projects are going forward. So I told you I wasn't going to lie, but it just takes a while. I think it's a good experience for the committee to see how long it took that Panera Bread and the Sonic to get off the ground. Because I think most of you, if not everyone in here, was thinking that I was just making stuff up and they would never actually build something on that site. But yeah, that's actually how long it takes. You've probably also seen some of the commercial grading going on at 8th and Highland Springs for the Sundance Corporate Center, and those will be medical offices. So we're excited about that. What else do we have of note? The last project grading is Hidden Canyon, and that's the one off Route 60, south of the freeway. And that's the 2 large industrial buildings that are going to be pre-graded, and then they'll have to extend 4th Street out to that. So we had meetings today on which parties that are going to be benefiting from those improvements are going to be contributing to the construction costs and how to get those installed. And then we have, I was going to call them RSI, but now it's William Lyon builders that own Heartland, which is olive wood. So they're going to be constructing 980 houses out north of State Route 60. So you can kind of see their models going up. They started to pull permits on some of the production runs. So they're getting in gear on building and selling those houses in the near future.
It's just scary.
And I think that's all the major projects that I can think of off the top of my head or that I wrote down. We can go to the city manager and see if he can fill me in on the ones I forgot.
That's pretty amazing. That's a great list.
Good enough for you? Okay, so that's it for updates from us.
How long is the Potrero project gonna last?
We hope the project will be completed by this time next year. How long do you want it to last?
Like, be done tomorrow?
Just start. Well, the city has provided me with a little bit of credibility because you're right, Kyle. I've been talking about these projects for some time, just kind of educating our staff on there's changes and there's things that are going on and the impact that is on our city. And it takes a long time, but it's happening, it's moving, and it raises a level of excitement and anxiety at the same time. So it's good. So just to note, Member Mike McGraw joined the meeting at 4:10 p.m. Anything else? Any other comments on or questions for the city?
Somebody said that there's a Costco, but there's always a lot of scuttlebutt about a new Costco.
What would you tell them?
I told them, I don't know, I'm gonna ask the people who do.
I know nothing of
Okay.
Costco.
There's one on the north and one on the south, and we're looking for maybe one on the east or west.
There's always one within 30 minutes, yes.
There has to be.
There has to be.
There's also an ocean if you go in this direction.
Yeah, Lester, we're bringing the beach out here. You know, we figure mountains and
I like
beach.
that. I did hear that was part of the budget.
It is. One scoop a year. We're gonna get there.
We're so happy when you're here. It's good for everyone. Okay, so we're going to move on to action item 2C, discussion of Economic Development Committee goals. So we have short-term goals, vision statement, and committee goals. And I'm lost. I've been absent for a while, so I know you guys have done a lot of work.
So we put this on here as a placeholder because the committee asked for this to be a standard item on the agenda moving forward. There's really no necessity to discuss any of these unless the committee wants to. It's really kind of an aid for the committee to kind of look at what our vision statement is and goals on a meeting by meeting basis. And if someone has an idea for some of their committee member reports or topics for future agendas, I guess this is really a good placeholder for us to tie those future agenda items or their committee reports into the vision statement and the goals of the actual committee. So it's on there. It also allows us to discuss some of these on a meeting by meeting basis, because if we don't have a line item for the agenda, then we can't necessarily get into a lengthy discussion on the vision or each of the goals. So it's a nice placeholder to have on there in case we want to discuss any of these and allow them to tie into some of the other topics. So I don't have anything personally on item C for discussion tonight. And I guess we can go around and see if anyone else has any items to discuss on the vision statement or the goals. Hi, Rob.
And for the record, Rob Moran joined the
You can
meeting
blame
at
it on the interchange.
No, I wish I could.
4:17 p.m. Okay. So any comments, discussion on the committee goals?
Everyone appreciated that it's there, so it's good. I'm very vision and mission driven, so it's good for me to have that right in front of my eyes, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Kyle, was it in the press enterprise either Monday or the last Friday where Target is building smaller stores and more of them? So that, because they can, a lot of times the superstores are difficult to fit in communities sometimes because of the space requirements. Do you have any contacts to reach out to them to look to see if they're interested in coming up this way with one of their smaller buildings?
Yeah, I could definitely do that. I haven't talked to Target in quite some time, but I can definitely reach into my Rolodex and talk to other people that I know that may know who's the broker for them currently.
Okay.
And it may be the same firm that was out there before. Rob probably talks to Target more than I. There was another company that was doing a smaller footprint store I just read about the other day.
Most of them are. Walmart's are doing smaller footprints.
Yeah.
Target's one of them. Target contracted for a while, you know, they were doing the big superstores as well. And then they stopped doing a lot of new stores for several years, and most of them are coming out with these, sort of these neighborhood centers or
It was
stores.
the Sears. Have you seen that new model? So Sears is doing it's called like a neighborhood Sears, and it's a franchise thing. So you own the building, and then the Sears products like Craftsman and so forth can actually be sold in your Sears neighborhood market. Because I think Sears is getting away from the big box attached to malls, and they need a way to get those products to their customers. And I think I just saw it either yesterday or the day before. It said, "Do you want to own a Sears?" And I'm like, "Yes." And then I looked, I'm like, "Oh, I can't afford to own a Sears." What was I thinking? But it was an interesting concept. It asked the question, so I answered, and I
Clickbait.
So that's I think that's sort of like the models nowadays that companies are coming out with. I just went to a conference to FINM, the Fashion Institute, and the keynote speaker was talking about that a lot of stores are coming out with the, I guess like the mobile stores as well, where you just bring, I don't know, so it's like very small portable shops that you take with you as well, like the ones you see at the mall in the center area.
Kiosks?
Like the kiosks.
Yeah.
And so those also are very popular. So maybe we want to think about that as well.
Perhaps this is a good segue, Councilman, to the discussion you and I had.
Yes, sir.
We'll be at the International Council of Shopping Centers big trade show next month in Las Vegas. It's called Recon. It's massive. There's 50,000 people, and that's a good opportunity for us to catch up on what the latest trends are and who's doing what exactly. And retail still continues to be in a significant state of churn. Automation and e-commerce and all those sorts of things are just changing everything. Everything about from the way you buy coffee to large department stores and malls, and it's really a tumultuous period for the industry. And as soon as one disappears, someone else pops up. So it's pretty interesting time to be in that space. But it's challenging because you have a lot of communities that have built shopping centers and retail centers based on a certain footprint and model, and that's completely being upended. And the spaces that you had could lease to somebody else before, it's more challenging to do that. So anyway, it's a pretty exciting time. So I think both shopping center owners and cities and developers are being much more creative in what they put in those spaces. So that's we'll be there next month. We have a Team Riverside County Pavilion. It's 1,800 square feet, so it's a fairly large presence, but we have about, I think, 14, 15 cities that are coming with us. Everybody pays a little bit to be a part of it. Some actually take a 10 by 10 booth space within it. We have limited capacity for those, but and then we provide tables and meeting areas, and people can reserve that, and it's done in a very nice format, nice manner. Represents the county well. So it's one of our big efforts throughout the year.
So the discussion that Mr. Moran and I had was, it'd be nice maybe for the city to maybe contact, looking into maybe doing that next year, if there's room or if there's money available to do that.
Well, it's kind of back to the future, right? Because a lot of small towns, at Kerrville, we had the small franchise Sears store, It was there. It was that very same thing that was out there. But one of the things that I was going to announce here was that we have our senior planner. So we had budgeted for a full-time senior planner position this year. Christina is our new planner, which means that Kyle is now cut loose of planning. So as of about 2 weeks ago, he is now 100% available to us for economic development and business development. So
Congratulations.
very happy about that ultimate step. So excited because there's a lot more of these things that we can try to track down and do now that we were kind of hamstrung on. We went to a little half-day conference. It was the Inland Empire Vision Conference. And it had a couple council people there, a few of us staff that was there. One of the things that I know we at staff have been worried about in council in our budget discussion was the economy is going to have to slow down at some point. It's time, it's getting past time. I think it's the second longest economic growth period in our history, and we know what the last one was and what happened. There's going to be a correction that comes that they're saying is up to about what we had with the last correction, is what's out there. However, the forecast that they were looking at really said that all the indicators were still showing positive signs. So it could be 2 years, it could be 3 years from now before we start to see that major turn down. From a city's position, financial position, we're factoring in, we have one more growth year, and then we start to see that dip in our local economy. It's pretty critical. The impact on us is very significant because about 80% of our assessed value is single-family residential right now. And even with all the growth, everything that's happened, the distribution of residential all the way across to commercial industrial has remained constant. The only difference is the vacant, undeveloped properties the value is about half of what it was 7-8 years ago. So, and that kind of concerns here. And it kind of dovetails, I think, with some of the objectives that council has established on those projects. The plaza concept, the streetscape concepts we've talked about downtown. Those projects, those design projects are moving forward. So we hope to have something soon. I've executed another contract that looks at traffic analysis on 6th Street. And the objective there is to identify what we can do to calm traffic, slow traffic down, and create that downtown retail, small retail environment for downtown Beaumont. So It's the traffic consultant that is doing the work for us on our general plan update has added a scope of work to do a specific traffic study for downtown. So that project is there, and I think those things kind of remain consistent with the overall trend in retail and kind of the concept of core downtown. And we kind of have had the philosophy that one of the key elements for small town economic development is downtown, is local business. And so council's talked about that, keeping that focus in the programming that's happening.
Anything else? That was a nice comment that you started to start all that discussion. It's good. So I remember certain things. Any other comments on that? Okay. So let's go ahead and move to 2D, local business survey update. Now, I believe the survey was developed and approved back in February, I think the February 7th.
By the committee.
Meeting by the committee.
And we, as staff, took it to the city council. So then they reviewed everything and with slight modifications approved it for us to get to work on that at the last city council meeting. We are also coming up with a better name for local business survey. I think I called it a visitation survey, which was even worse.
Sounds ominous.
It shows my inability to think creatively when it comes to marketing, and that's why I don't work for a marketing firm.
We're going to get some numbers for everybody to put on your jacket there.
Yeah, so we have a copy of that in the back. If you haven't taken a look at it, here, Rob, you can have this. So it's pretty straightforward. You're not going to see any significant changes from the one the committee did. They just added a couple one-liners or follow-up questions to some of the ones that we had in there. So we as staff are happy with it. We're excited about the committee to go out and start these things. The next step is how to go about facilitating that work. So I took some time today to print out a list of all of the businesses in the city that have storefronts, not the home ones. There's about 400 or so of them. Wow. I was able to learn Excel to the point where I could take cells apart, put them back together, and get everything sorted because they were all grouped by like license number. So you would have 400 just out there in Beaumont. None of them were on a specific street on a block. So I got it into streets and then further sorted by blocks. So they're all in order on what street segment they're in. The only thing I haven't done is removed the big ones that we talked about. So like Walmart or Best Buy or where's some of the other ones on here? Bed Bath & Beyond, Fantastic Sam's, all of those ones that aren't probably going to be that important for the committee members to go out and meet with. And just leave that task to me, and I'll go ahead and try to get responses on those ones. The other thing it has is the business owner and a phone number. So if it may be in the best interest of the committee member to make contact prior to showing up versus just walking in and they'll think you're trying to sell them a $30,000 printer and you're really not. But so it's up to the committee members on how to set up the meetings. If you want to just walk down the block and see which ones you can get, by all means go for it. What we don't have, and what I wanted to bring up for discussion today, is how to take this and how to have an ability for all the committee members to go to the ones they want and not necessarily have someone go to ones that have been duplicated.
Right.
I thought about it and I said, well, if I go out to Auto Parts Pros and then Rob goes there a couple days later, that's not necessarily a bad thing because it shows that the business has been visited more than once. And they say, well, look, I already talked to Kyle. Thanks for coming in. But if I go there and then Rob goes there and then Terrence goes like 4 days later, they're going to start thinking that we don't really know what we're doing.
Right.
So I'm trying to think of a process in which we split this list into the different people that go out, so we kind of have some marching orders, and I don't know the greatest way of doing that.
Now, that's in an Excel document that you have?
It
that
is.
in? So I think if you put it into a Google document, I think it's called Google Sheets, I think you can incorporate it in. you can have it live where everyone has access to that. So you put it in and you can see who's visited. So if a section is assigned to Jennifer, then that's fine. But if someone else went, then you see, okay, there's 2 people that went there. That may work. I don't know, just a suggestion.
Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking, is some sort of platform like that. But I was thinking of using Microsoft, but not everyone has that. And that's the problem, is not everyone has access to OneDrive. But if Google Docs is doing the same thing, then let's go ahead and try to use something like that. So what I'll do is I'll set up that live document. You can go in the active document, and I'll have a column under committee member, and you basically will reserve it, and I'll have another column that specifies whether you've made contact or the survey's been completed or not. So if you see that someone has it on there, say like Bernie has a couple on there, and it's been outstanding for 3 or 4 months because he got busy or went on vacation.
Come on,
man.
Sorry, I had to use someone. I should use myself.
Thanks.
So we can figure out at the next meeting, well, are you really going to go to Bugs in Your Hair, or am I going to go to Bugs in Your Hair? Because someone needs to go figure out if they have bugs in their hair. And literally that's a business name on here. So
Well, maybe that could be Dylan. I mean, that's.
you want to go to that one? Sure. All right. So I'm going to put Dylan down for the Bugs in Your Hair at 686 Beaumont Avenue.
Would it make sense to actually make assignments instead of us kind of picking through and reserving?
So you'd
For
prefer
me, I
we
would prefer
assign it?
just assigning it and saying, here's who you're going to go see, because it doesn't matter to me which ones I go and
Okay.
see. But that way,
That's more fair and arbitrary too.
well, and then it's less time consuming if people are pecking through.
Okay.
At least that's what I would do. I'd start pecking through and
I
get
know,
lost
bugs on
down
my
the
hair.
bugs in your hair hole.
I think it's a good point, and I think there's less chance of a business getting missed, like Bugs in Your, somebody doesn't want to go to that, and then we get 0 people going there.
No bugs in anybody's hair.
I think we should all now go to Bugs in Your Hair.
I gotta
It's
go check it
important.
out.
Listening right now.
Yes,
Yeah,
you're right.
watch it.
What's the name again?
Yeah,
Their website traffic just increased.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
In the last
To
5
7.
minutes. Yeah. However many.
I'll volunteer for Ants in My Pants.
I didn't sort by business name, so I don't know if that's on there, but I can't confirm nor deny.
But I think if we have that system, if someone wants to make go to that business because of whatever connection and show a present, they can still do that, but you still see someone was assigned to it, and then I'm gonna go as well. So at least 2 contacts or whatever.
Are we concerned with just visiting those that have established storefronts? Or are we interested in talking to those who may be home office operations?
You said you only got storefronts, right?
We don't have home-based on this list, but I could generate a list of the home-based.
I think we should start with
Yeah.
that. Once we've made a dent in this, we can
Yeah.
start adding in, we want to add in the home-based stuff, because the problem, as you said, with home-based is,
We're not gonna show up at their door.
I show up,
so-
no, but I mean, like, I do a very hobby part-time photography business.
Mm-hmm.
I'll officially show as a home-based business. Nobody care,
Do you have business license?
no. For the $500 a year, no. But
Stressed hobby-based.
But that's what I'm saying.
Redact
I
that
mean, it
from the record.
shows, that's the part that you're gonna have some that are, that part you can't tell
Correct.
up front. So once we've got a dent through the storefront, I think we can move on to that. And I think, Terrence, I know that each of us have certain connections with certain businesses and stuff in town, and that certainly makes it easy to say, hey, I'll go see my friend. But I would think we're better off to do it as an assigned base and not be seeing our friends and go the other way. Because that way people are seeing, oh, it's not just my buddy coming out to visit me.
Mm-hmm.
This is the committee making sure somebody's coming. Because it can very much get written off that, I've known Mike for a long time. He came in and checked in, but I don't really know what that's about because they're not seeing me.
Right.
If it's one of my friends as Economic Development Committee,
Yeah.
they're seeing me as Mike showing up to say hello and what's going on. I would almost say to go the other way to avoid going into seeing the ones that we have. But if somebody's stuck, Joe won't answer the door, then does anybody know him? Then we can at least make an introduction and get that person in the door. But I think it would have more impact on the community to see people they don't know that are coming from the Economic Development Committee, especially city members, stuff like that, knocking on their door.
But that does suggest that we all have friends. I mean,
I'm sure there's 1 or 2 at least.
Okay, all right.
More than others, but hey.
So we can go ahead and just go through and assign. The question is, how many does each committee member feel comfortable being assigned at one time? Do you want me to just split it into equal portions, or should I just do like 10 and we'll review what happened throughout the next month? Or
So you say you have 400, right? There's 14.
so we got 400, and then there'll be less than 400 because I'm going to take off a significant amount of the big ones and just leave that for city staff to deal with.
So are we talking 300 basically? You think a quarter of it will be off?
Probably more like maybe 50 I'll take off. So like Paracone, Wolverine, Ross, Best Buy, those.
So that's approximately 30 per member. I think you're better to assign them because the reality is getting in the door. You're going to make a lot of calls. It's going to take some time.
Okay.
Over a month, you might get 5 or 6 appointments. You know, for me, that's my thing. You know, my years in banking and my history in doing that, making out business calls. If I'm making 30 to 50 calls, I'm getting 4 to 5 appointments in that window.
That's true.
It'll take time to put those, you know, as we follow up from month to month, and the more and more of those will start to go. But I think that would only be putting us at about 4 to 5 appointments a month each.
Sure. What do we think about possibly sending a little, so we get the list pared down, sending out an advance little public information piece to the businesses that we're going to talk to?
Yeah.
Say, you know,
From the city?
contacting the city. So we prep them, and then they can call, you know, if they want to schedule an appointment, or,
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great idea.
you know, or.
And then if they're already
Could you
assigned, we'll
handle
know
the
who they're
influx of
assigned
calls?
to get that to the correct person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That lends
good.
legitimacy to it as well,
Yeah.
so we don't just like.
Because you'd be able to see who it is and just, you know, you would just be forwarding them on to the appropriate committee member.
That would be
If they
And
helpful.
we
called
make the
into you.
appointment.
They can call or email in.
It'll be interesting to see what the response is. I mean,
Yeah.
if
It would
there's
just
a
be
huge
short window where
influx.
you'd get an influx and then that'll die down, but for,
Yeah.
you know, a week or so, you may get,
So what I'll do is I
may
can
get 50 or
probably
more.
work with Ashley to help field the calls amongst 2 people,
Okay.
as opposed to just 1.
But I suspect you reach out to 350 businesses, we may get, you
I
know,
figure
30
50-ish
or
call,
40.
yeah, 30 to 50 calls,
Yeah.
that way you'd get
Yeah.
in.
That's
But they'll all
okay.
come in 3 days, you know what I mean?
Right.
When that letter hits,
Right.
they're all gonna come right after,
Yep.
right at the same time.
But if we get a full survey from, say, 20 to 25 of the businesses, I think that's pretty good. That's going to give you some
Good
insight. into
Yeah,
some-
Yeah.
and I think you'd get that per month over the next 6 months, you know, I mean, you'll get 20 businesses a month, each month for the next few months.
So then we could just take down contact information and then simply forward that out, because I have all of your emails.
Right.
And then we could go ahead and do that. I mean, at one point, we probably should just send me your contact information on phone, and then that way I could just text you or call you as well, something like that. I think I have a lot of people's phone numbers, but not everyone.
So logistics question, when we actually go out and do these surveys, so we're taking down the responses, do you want us to key this in to some sort of document and send it to you, or you're gonna try to read my handwriting?
You're gonna want us to key it in. I'm telling you. I know my handwriting.
Handwriting, because I can read my own.
I hope so.
Hope so.
Yeah. We'll have to see how that works. What program do you think we could work to key it in?
You can do the same with
Same
Google.
Google Docs.
But the same thing, if you put it on Google Docs and just make it an editable file.
You can do it on your phone.
And that'll actually give us a lot of data entry and good information.
Then we can compile that into one central source as well. Okay.
And I know at one time we talked about having a brochure that we could also have in our hands when we go and meet with them.
We're working on it.
Okay. Updated one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Something that I had nothing to do with, so it'll actually look nice. And then all the key components will be there, because that's what I know. I just don't know how to make things look amazing, which is why we have Ashley.
Got people for that.
Yeah. The other thing we're gonna do is we'll need to have each of the committee members come in and schedule time to get a city ID card.
Ooh.
It's not gonna allow you access into anything in here,
It's still fun.
but
Dylan, did you hear this?
you sure you wanna leave? So now you got a card. So we'll get you one of those, so in case there's a question on who you actually are and whether you're actually representing the city or not, you can flash them your official
Yeah.
EDC card. Be like,
Whoa.
yeah. Now, don't ask for any discounts via the card, because I've already email blasted all of them and said that this is not worth anything on the street.
Free tea times.
Yeah, they will laugh.
So I have a
That's why you
question.
didn't do
Doesn't work for that.
What if a business owner wants to do this electronically? Do we have a link? Do we have?
Well, if it's in Google Docs, we would be able to.
Great question.
I'm wondering if there's an opportunity in the advanced mailer that Todd was referencing is, some may say, you know what, I'll just fill it out online, I don't want anybody bugging me.
People really like that.
Right.
I have a little bit of a concern with it though, because we talked about that in the last meeting, that a lot of these, it's very easy to say yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And then we have a lot of questions based on that we really want some expansion. And I think if we put it out up front that, I mean, we're really trying to understand something and not just get surveys for the sake of surveys. I'd rather have less surveys, but have ones where we've really had a conversation and truly understand where the pain is or where the successes are. I think we'll benefit more from that than if we put it out. I think towards the end of it, if we're not getting those last 100 and nobody's responding, then maybe we open up the door then. But personally, I would rather see us in front of them because it's really about expanding and understanding their business, which you a lot of times don't get
But also.
in the electronic version.
But also, we don't want to lose the opportunity to get another survey because the person refuses to give it to us. Or maybe they don't want us to read it. Maybe they just want to do it confidentially, in a confidential manner. I don't know.
Maybe could we have a link on there or a box on there that says, are you okay with us following up with you? That would allow us to get the information and maybe still get more information if we want to delve in deeper.
You know, that's a really good idea, so we could do the mailer with the link, and then if they choose to do it electronically at the very end, can we please follow up with you to gain additional insight based on your responses? So we kind of.
Some are going to say no, and that's just what it is, but at least we got some data from them.
What if we wait to allow that opportunity until after we see how the outcome is? Like, let's at least try to knock it out first, and then maybe do a follow-up flyer 6 months down the line.
Yeah, to me, the power of this is that we're going out and saying, hey, you're valued and we want you here.
Yes.
I think sending it out and saying, fill something out on a website says,
That's not, that's not what I.
No, I understand that's not your intention with that. I fully get that, but
Yeah.
if they have that opportunity, it's very easy to just,
Take it.
I'm busy, I'm just gonna fill that out, leave me alone, as opposed to saying, we really wanna understand what you're doing, what the city can do, you know, good or bad. I mean, we can learn from it, we can make the community better. Even if you're very happy, we wanna know what made you happy, so we can use that to make other businesses successful, bring in other businesses. I just, that personal touch matters to me a lot more than volume of surveys. I think that's gonna be, and if there's really pain there, they're wanting to talk to somebody. I don't think that I think you'll find a lot less doors closed than you think.
What do you think about us having that link available? We still make the contact and be that point of contact and show that we care. And then if they say, you know, I'm so sorry, I'm so busy, but I could do this at midnight tonight, will you send us a link? So you're still getting the relationship building, but if they're crazy busy and they just want to answer, that they still can.
I mean, in the end of it, I'd be okay, but, you know, you and I are both in sales. If I
Right.
got that answer that I could do that at midnight, I'd say, fine, I'll see you at midnight. You know, I mean, to me, that's where I would go with it. If that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. I'll be there. But, you know, for me, I think getting some quality up front and seeing, I mean, if we're struggling and nobody's answering the door, then let's open it up that way. But I think you're going to have a lot more success than you think because there hasn't been a contact. I mean, we've talked about where businesses have had frustration, they don't know where to go. I'm sure once you ask and say, hey, I'm with the city, we want to know what's there, I think you're going to find a lot of people want to talk, good and bad. You know, I think you're going to have the other issue that you're going to have more people wanting to make appointments than you think. And for me, I would rather go down that road first, try it for a couple months. If we're struggling, stubbing our toes, I mean, nothing's been done in what, 10, 20 years? I mean, we can wait 3 months.
The last business survey we did was like in 2010 or so. And that was partnering with Riverside County that helped us fund it.
So we're on
For
8
past
eight
CDA,
years.
and it was pass area wide. It wasn't just Beaumont.
Right.
So it was a.
So to me, waiting 3 months, 6 months to see how this goes is worth the wait. I also think, you know, again, as you say, you talk to one business, the guy next door is not answering it as they start to talk. Well, no, it was really great. I got to tell them what I thought. You may get the call back, you know. I just think the doors will be a lot more open than we are giving credit for. I mean, they're busy, and I get that. We're going to have to make ourselves available at different times. I mean, different businesses have different busy hours. I mean, don't walk into a restaurant at 5 in the evening or at noon, or, you know, I mean, you got to know what those businesses matter. But They all have downtime. At the time they're having to do their paperwork and payroll and that kind of stuff, they can take, what is this, 5 minutes? 10 minutes if it's, if they
maybe
really
10,
expand.
15 minutes if they
I mean,
get into it.
yeah, so they'll make the time.
I have
My
a
2 cents.
question. If the owner or is rarely on site or never on site, who's acceptable or who do you want us to talk to in lieu
I think
of
anyone that,
ownership?
I would say anyone that feels comfortable asking these series of questions. So if it's not the owner, then it would be the plant manager or a business manager of that business. So, like, you're not there all the time at your location, but you may have someone that you feel comfortable answering these series of questions on the company's behalf. And my guess is other companies would the same thing, like Paracone may have someone like that. Some of these other businesses may have a manager that is their go-to person because the owner's not actually there all the time. And normally that person at each of these businesses kind of knows that they have the owner's authority to sign on their behalf sometimes, or to order things, or to fill out a simple survey or talk to the city. And then sometimes that manager may actually be better suited to answer some of these questions than the actual owner. If the owner's off-site and they just own the business and they balance the books, but they don't necessarily know the intricacies of the business, it may be the manager that is the best person to fill out the survey. So I think you kind of play it by ear. If there's someone that's not interested in doing that or doesn't feel comfortable, then you know that's not the right person to be talking to. And then you start asking, okay, who's your supervisor? Or can I talk to the owner? Do you have their, you'll have their phone number. As a disclaimer, some of these businesses may not be in business, and some of the phone numbers may not be the correct phone number or an obsolete phone number. So I saw one of them, and I'll take it off, but I think they've closed in the last couple months or so, but they're still on here because they have an active business license for this fiscal year. So some of them may not be in business, so they may not be that interested in setting up a meeting to talk to us. But don't get disheartened because of that.
This could also help us update so you get the correct numbers.
We know when they don't renew, but not many times when they close do they call us and tell us that they close. Unless they want their sewer bill off.
Which is smart.
So far in the discussion, we've talked about portioning that out per member. And are we looking at, I think you said geographically, sorting that out maybe?
That's going to be my goal, is to kind of give you a sector. Realistically, we have Beaumont Avenue. There's some stuff on California in the industrial sector. We have 2nd Street. There's 6th Street. And what else do we have? Some stuff on Highland Springs. And then some small stuff near 6th Street that just isn't on 6th. Some of the frontage roads like Egan, Edgar. And then we have some of the stuff similarly within the industrial area. So we'll go ahead and try to group those together so you're not having to drive from Highland Springs all the way to Elm for your business meetings. Hopefully they'll be contained within some sort of area. You may have a couple blocks to skip, but hopefully that'll be it.
I just left all the way to Elm. So far.
Yeah. Yeah, don't stress yourself out over that.
Yeah, I don't think it'll cause a lot of heartburn if we have to do too much
Right.
driving.
Well, that's
It is just
All
citywide.
of-
It's not like you're sending me to.
That's good sentiments, because I think that proves why we have the right people on the committee, because, kid you not, some people complain about 5 minutes of traffic, or the fact that there's a train here and the thing's in their way, so
Yeah.
we do get that, so.
Drive through it.
Drive through the train?
She's got a big tank.
She's strong.
I wanna see that. I'm putting her north and south of the freeway, back and forth.
She said you want a zombie apocalypse.
So can we talk about the Google platform for a second? So we will all have to have a Google account. And is that an issue for anyone?
Just your Gmail account, right?
Same as
Yeah, just
Gmail.
Gmail.
Right.
Yeah.
Remember, all of those accounts will be public records, so you don't want it attached to your personal account.
Yeah, so go ahead and create,
Okay.
what I would suggest is create one that is for this purpose, and then you can simply go in that account setting and then hit forward. I think you all know how to do that, because we have multiple accounts, and you could forward what's received in that one to any of the other ones,
Okay.
but make sure you use that one to send out communications and correspondence. Because like Todd said, anything that we're working with on behalf of the committee is subject to the Public Records Request Act.
So if you're gonna probably send that to the current account that we have on file, and we can send that to that specific account number.
No, other way around. Create an account that we'll give to Kyle,
Okay,
and then he will put that account, he will link that account for everybody. And then when you access it, you can either access it there and forward it onto your personal if you want to work in the personal, or just log in under the one for that, so that way the public record's there. Unless you care that your personal email's on public record.
well, everything's on public
It's
record.
there anyway, you know, I mean,
For us.
your work email's already there anyway, I mean, you know what I mean?
So what I'll do is I'll simply have the Google one, and I'll have that, so when I get an email via that system, it's gonna plug my work email. And it's gonna say, look, you've received an email from Rob, or something like that, and then I can either choose to, I'll probably just go back under my Gmail account, and then do the correspondence through there. So that's what I would suggest for all the committee members, is just to have that forward to whatever, because otherwise you'll have to log into that every day or so. It's easier to have that auto forward to whatever email system you're using frequently, so that you know when you get an email from someone that's interested via that system. And then that'll be your login to the Google Docs if you want to make changes or those types of things. Or I think that'll be the same thing that we go in to enter, at least member stars will go in to enter, since there's no way I can read her writing.
Yeah.
I remember Higgins.
Okay. It's all right.
I can barely read it.
And do we wanna, I'm just thinking about process and things that come up with just what you're talking about. Do we wanna elect a volunteer or an expert on that, so if someone gets stuck, okay, I'm trying to do this, I'm stuck, who would call to kind of help me through that process? Is there anyone
On
who's?
Google Docs?
Yeah,
You probably just call me.
but, yeah, I was trying to take it off.
I don't necessarily
Don't you have
know.
2,000
spread
students using Google Docs every day?
Yeah, but
I
I'm
don't
not saying
necessarily
me,
know Google
I'm always
Docs.
advocating for others, you know?
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call Dylan, and then he's gonna walk me through it.
Okay, good, Dylan, we got it, perfect.
Thanks, John.
That's how these things are gonna work.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I asked my 8th grader, I don't know where we're
Yeah.
going. Dad, it's on Google Docs.
I'm hoping Ashley knows how to use Google Docs more than mine. I'm sure it's not that hard.
No, it's
We're
just,
gonna have to figure it out.
It's the same as OneDrive, it's just
Yeah,
different terms, but
correct. So we'll figure it out
Same
together.
okay.
Well, there wouldn't be any issue actually putting it directly into that form, right? If I have Google Docs and I have it on my iPad and bring that with me, I can just type the responses. I'm a quicker typer than I am a writer
Kind of a
anyway.
balancing act.
I have a little thing.
Oh, fancy.
Okay,
yes,
Might
you
be
can, fill,
helpful.
you can fill it straight in, yes.
yeah, thank
So
you.
make sure we're all supported. Alleviate anxiety. That's a big goal.
We'll all be calling you.
It's all right. I have an Edgar now. He's really good.
Perfect.
He's our new IT manager, so I'm sure he understands Google Docs.
I hope.
He will probably laugh if I ask him.
And so timelines.
How are we gonna identify, we don't care about the name of the business because we're recording it individually on the survey? No, it doesn't have to have the name of the business.
No, business name's on the very top.
It's on the very top.
You have one,
Like
two,
the-
it's 2
oh,
pages.
I
Yeah, the second page. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's anonymous for you.
I'm like, what is?
That would be confusing.
Great.
There's something missing.
I was worried I left it off.
Dang it.
Then I was gonna blame everyone because this is a collective assignment. All right, so it's there?
Yes.
All right,
You're
perfect.
Okay.
So timelines, because I know there's some things that still need to be done prior to starting an assignment.
Right.
He just has to jump it. Yeah, that's no.
Yeah, so I think priority number one is go ahead and set up all of your Google accounts, and that shouldn't take that long.
Deadline?
Deadline for that?
Ooh, the stars. Not
By next Friday. By next Friday,
action.
right?
Yeah.
You don't tell me, I won't do it.
Right.
So,
Yeah, by next Friday, it's perfectly fine.
Okay.
Just go ahead and set it up, email that over to me so that I have that. I'll create an email blast group for those, in case we need to send out stuff. I will go ahead and start compiling the list of cities, and then dividing those by all the members. And then we'll get those documents uploaded to, or that one document, right? Because it'll be one central living document. That'll go on Google Docs with names assigned to each of the businesses. It'll have the additional columns that we spoke about on who it's assigned to and whether contact has been made or not. And then we will get the actual questionnaire onto Google Docs as well so that we can go ahead and fill it out using that system. And my guess is you just save it within that area.
Click enter, goes right on in.
Yeah, and you'll just save it by whatever name of the business is and the date or something like that. That way we know that it was filled out. And then what else? I think that's pretty much it.
When does the mailer go out so that?
Oh yeah, we have to do the mailer. Sorry, great reminder.
So mailer can be compiled between now and next Friday, right?
So we're gonna need to do that soon, and then figure out a way to get it out to all of them.
Here, we'll have an official statement from the chairman, you know, for.
Oh,
With this
I
picture.
need to get your,
Yes, the
Picture?
chairman,
glamour
not the vice
shot.
chair.
Yeah.
Need your glamour shot.
I was looking at you.
I know.
So,
You're the chairman.
That comes out
school
from the
district
city.
take care of that
It's just,
stuff.
yeah,
oh my God.
we don't know to mix those messages, you know. Good thought. So glad you're here. Yes.
We'll set up a time for his photo op, and we'll get that on there. So do we want to wait? We'll probably want to wait to go out and do everything until actually that's been received.
Right.
Get out there, get out to everybody.
Yeah.
Well, we need to come in and get our cards so that we look official too.
Yeah, we need all that stuff before we start doing it. So that,
And we'll probably work up a little spiel for everybody, you know, just kind of your introductory spiel, so we're all talking from the same thing, and saying the same things as much as possible. It's like doing a real survey.
It's much happier when you're here. I mean, it's just, it's great.
Well, gosh,
Yeah. This meeting,
not what I want.
not the council meeting. Carried away.
Haven't talked.
Okay, any other items on this? So there's quite a few components left till we get
So
started.
can I ask a favor of you then? Can you put that timeline together, and once we get you all of our emails by 10 days, whatever next Friday's is, send out a first email blast with this timeline for us, when we need to be in by badges, when the mailer's expected to be done and go out, all that kind of stuff.
if you have time to come in next week or so forth, or the week after, just for your badge, go ahead and schedule a time with
With
Ashley.
Ashley.
They don't give me the camera or anything like that. I'll just mess it up.
What's
So-
Ashley's full name, contact information?
It's very close to your. It's Star without the S.
Oh, she's a fancy person.
Mm.
2 R's?
2 R's.
Wow, long lost relative.
And I don't know her direct line, but if you call 769-8520, and then they're gonna have one of those fun automated messages, and it should have a category for public information office. And if you push whatever that button it is, you should get to her.
Thank
And when
you.
you talk to her, ask her for a direct line. Because I don't have it.
And then we'll send it to you.
That works.
Don't talk to her in jazz hands.
No?
Don't do that. Skittish.
On the phone, can't you tell?
Oh, yeah.
I'm doing that tomorrow.
Provocation.
Public information.
So you can only do one jazz hand.
On speaker.
So are you gonna send us the survey in a non-PDF format, so that if we wanna use our computers, we can just type the.
It should be under the Google Docs. So yes.
cut and paste?
Mm-hmm.
Any other comments, suggestions, commentary?
I have a question. On the survey, is there a reason why we didn't ask, what is the most successful part of your business and what did you attribute that to? We didn't care about that.
I don't know, Rob has mine. What do you think? What do we have here? Yeah, we don't have a specific question on that one. We kind of dove in a little bit deeper on some of these other ones, like how can we help assist to grow? So that kind of touches on what they're doing. What's the biggest obstacles for success? So that one's what things are in your way. Expansion, and then you also have the catch-all, which is under your visit notes and concerns. So if you're meeting with them and you get the feeling that they're very successful or there's a portion that you'd like to highlight, go ahead and ask them those types of things, and you can put it under the concerns or notes section. And then we can tabulate those.
Anything else? It's not like I'm trying to move on, I'm just making sure we have all that input, right, Dylan? Yeah.
Not like I'm trying to.
I know. So let's go ahead and move forward to 2E, Intro to New Business Program.
So that's when we added, it came off the topics for future agendas a couple ago, and we put it on here. I think that we added it on, we were kind of finishing up the survey concept, and we were thinking, okay, let's see if we can develop a new program, but I don't know if I'm the only one, but I think the conversation we had today on logistics and the implementation of this program was very valuable for at least staff and the other members of the committee. We've kind of figured out all the things I wasn't thinking of or how to actually get it done today in one meeting. And now we probably should be looking forward to performing some of those things before we start jumping into the next avenue of what the committee's going to be doing. I don't know if that would be my sentiment. I don't know if everyone else agrees, or because we can talk about it, but realistically, I'd like to get this other one off the ground and working before we try to implement a new one.
I'd move to table the discussion to a future meeting.
Second.
Oh,
Action.
whoa, this is stars. I mean, stars. Do we want to, all in favor to that?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Check.
Oh, wow, strong. All right. So we'll move on to 2F, topics for future agendas. And there's some suggestions down there, 1 through 4.
I don't have
Just
much on those
come back
ones.
and,
I am happy to say that staff is meeting with Mount San Jacinto next week on the internship program to kind of figure out if
Very
it
cool.
will be possible to align their types of intern programs with the city, and also see if we can roll out something in which maybe if it doesn't work for city positions, maybe they have things that we roll out for some of the businesses we meet with based on their needs. So if they're asking for assistance or they need an intern and I get a good understanding of what the community college can provide, maybe we leverage those assets at the community college to some of our local businesses for internships. So we're gonna kick that off next week. So I'm excited about that one. And
So maybe we can have an update on that at the next meeting, how that's going. Anything else, any other comments or thoughts about a topic to bring forward? I don't know why I'm looking at you.
Well, I like the concept for the Business of the Month program and maybe partnering with the chamber there that kind of aligns with some of our goals. I could take that to the next chamber board meeting and to see maybe what some ideas are there.
That's good.
Okay.
the So Dylan had a question on the internship program, and he asked, would the internship program be if you were enrolled at Mount San Jacinto, or if it would be an internship program here at the city if you were done with college? And it's a good question because organizations have different options for those. Some are when you're actually in school on your free time, or some are internships like, okay, now I've graduated, I have my AA or my BA or BS. Now what do I do? And you go try to intern at a organization to figure out if that's what works with you. Honestly, that's what I did. So I didn't know what I was going to do. And then, well, I thought, but then that didn't work. So then I ended up in government, which I said I'd never actually work in. Which is why I have a business degree. Imagine that. Look at me now. So, yeah. I still can't open a Sears franchise that Rob just reminded me of. Yeah. Thanks, Rob.
Got the degree for it, though.
All my hopes and dreams. Crushed right there. So,
Oh my goodness.
It's a law of attraction.
I think that right now the city doesn't have an internship program that's solidified for graduates. So I think what we're going to be talking about next week with community college are people that are within their curriculum that would be given some sort of credit at the community college for doing some work-related experience here at City Hall or on site at one of our local businesses. I think that's kind of what we're going to talk about next week. Obviously, the city council can choose to create an internship program or create internship positions for the city for postgraduate people or people that are interested, but we just don't have that at this point in time. Luckily, we had one when I graduated.
Or you wouldn't be right, is it? So,
Somewhere.
okay, any other comments or suggestions for topics for future meetings? I think we have 2 there for next time. That's good. Okay. Let's move on to 2G. I think is our last item here, is committee member reports. And I don't think I've been here in a while when this is being done, so I don't. Okay.
Report on their business.
Probably.
Normally,
I don't know
the
why I'm
chairman
looking at you.
gives like a 30-minute report,
30 minutes?
and then the rest of us sit and watch.
I'm so
I think mine
shy
was
and
45
quiet,
minutes
I don't know
last
how
week.
that would ever turn out and work. Why don't we start?
Sure.
Does anyone want to start? That's what
Bertha does.
oh, Bertha does. So we'll start this way and go around. Oh, perfect.
So tell me again, what are we doing?
Exactly, that's exactly what I was saying. So you're just going to report out in terms of your role and what you're doing,
Yes,
what's going on, and how that could relate to the committee.
my real job.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is this a fake job? Is that what you're telling us?
So, I'm a counselor. I'm out at the college and I teach. And some of my roles include helping out with scheduling the courses at the San Antonio Pass campus. I serve in different committees. We just went through accreditation. And I was responsible for writing the annual report for the Department of Counseling. In fact, I projected, I did sort of like a planning for the next 4 years. I also wrote a grant for basic skills to help students transition from basic skills to college level. And what the program is about is we basically building a coalition of faculty. So we all can visit each other's classrooms and we bring ideas and observe each other with the idea that we want an extra pair of eyes in our classrooms and tell us what do you think is working, provide me with their other options, and just be creative so that we can help students succeed. So our goal in Mount San Jacinto College with this basic skills project that we studied this semester is to help students transition from basic skills to college level courses, so that they can graduate and transfer. Other duties that I do is I write curriculum, I participate in the community, as you know, also, I'm in the union and I represent my site as faculty member. I'm the voice for that. And other minor things, but those are the major roles that I play. And I enjoy it very much. I've been with it for 18 years, and this is the job that I dream having. So for me, it's not work. I actually get up every day in the morning, and I'm excited to get to work. I love what I do.
It shows.
Yeah.
I'm Mike I work for the County of Riverside as a building official. Listening to what Todd was saying about the housing, we are looking at about a 15% drop from over last year at this time. So we are seeing that trend for single-family residential permits as far as issued permits go. We track those. We also track solar. Those are been maintaining, so that's pretty consistent over last year. Those are critical keys for us because we try to anticipate development and which way the development community is going to go, because obviously they pay our wages. Our building department is different than other building departments where we're required to, we are what they call a special revenue fund. And what we're required to do is the building permit fees actually support the building department. We do not get any general fund or tax money. So a lot of the times we hear that, you know, my tax dollars pay your wages, and it's nice to be able to say no, they don't, but I'd never say that. But so monitoring business trends are very critical for us as far as keeping us sustained. Because when business or building drops, then people get laid off. So that's what we watch.
I'm Todd. I work for the city, and to pay the bills, I'm working on my pro surfing career, and so I'll carry my successes on here into the Pacific soon, I'm sure. But
So it'll help when we have the beach here.
oh yeah, that's why I'm bringing it. You know,
Help
we're gonna have
him.
a pro Beaumont circuit.
Skip a year.
But you know, it's kind of interesting to look at some of the unique opportunities that's out here. I don't know if anybody went to Tuckwit over the weekend and went to the Symetra Women's LPG qualifying tournament. We had 144, I guess, pro golfers and a pro-am here.
Wow.
And the top 10 move on to LPGA events. I guess the AA over in Phoenix is, you know, some of them will go. I think the winner from last year's tournament actually was the winner from the Tuckwit here. So this is the only West Coast event that Symetra puts on. And I think I was talking to the event organizer. I think he said there's something like 48 or 49 women's pro golf events a year. So one of those 49 across the entire country is located here. So they're interested in trying to stay here. But you have all sorts of unique little things like that are happening. So we talk about business, and we're glad to see the Wolverines and the Icons and the CJ Foods here. But there's also those other elements that bring a lot of other context to our community. And so we're trying to get more engaged, you know, with those types of things and take advantage of those. And one of the things that Kyle and Ashley will begin to do is to try to help link our businesses to those events to kind of help with marketing. But if you think about it, with Icon, with Wolverine, CJ Foods, with various businesses that are here, there is a quality of life. There is a healthful and kind of natural athletic link from those businesses over to those types of events. So we think there's some natural marriage between some of those deals in our community. So anyway, that just kind of put that into context of some of the other side of some of the things that we're doing to kind of help maybe fill that roster out a little bit more.
Michael McGraw. My background is banking and finance since 1989. I don't even do the math on how long I've been in that realm. But most of my day, the last couple of years, I have more been dad and volunteer a ton with the kids. I coach. Most recently, I do a ton of archery coaching through the middle schools, high schools in the local area, and through a local club. as with that, I grew up in the golf world, and absolutely correct, Madeline Segstrom, who won last year, is now one of the top 25 on the LPGA Tour, coming through that tournament here. And yeah, I want to second that we do have a lot of great communities. You know, there's a world-class golf course there across the street at Oak Valley Golf Course. The Stocktons have their teaching program, which brings some of the best golfers from around the world at all levels and all programs come to work with them. You know, we really do have a great community feel, and I know that's something that we've all talked about over the last couple of years of doing this, of, you know, really making sure we highlight that to businesses to come in and that kind of stuff. I'll toot the horn of the archery kids coming around. They're in the middle of their season, so I've been quite nuts the last 2 months. But Beaumont High and all 3 middle schools in Beaumont have archery programs. We have last year at the middle school level the first, second, third place nationally girls. This year, one of our high school boys just won Arizona Cup, which is one of the qualifying events for the U.S. Olympic team that he won last week. He's the defending outdoor national champion, and he'll shoot for the high school for them. To say the program's had success is really, really an understatement. Again, last year at the national event, 7 of the top 10 girls in the country were from Beaumont. Not just from, you know, between the 3 Beaumont middle schools. A few of them have graduated up to the high school, and I think you're going to see this year at the high school level, which will be the 28th and 29th, is the national tournament, that both the middle school and high school have that kind of representation. But it's also grown out into Yucaipa now. Sika, which is one of their charter schools in the middle school, has a program. Yucaipa High started up a team this year. So there's a lot of depth in the area that's coming from that, and it's just one of the many opportunities I know there's been. I've been involved with AYSO. Soccer's had a ton of success out here. I know we have some kids in swimming that have had you know, national level success and recognition. So you know, there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of coaching, and I know a lot of times people miss where that is, and you know, one of the things I hope we do here is continue to highlight what's there besides you know, if it's just jobs based or this or that, but you know, the quality of life pieces that go with it, and I think that will be a positive growth for us.
I was gonna say no report, but I guess we're
You
not.
better-
I guess we're doing
You better bring it
introductions.
today.
But that's nice, because I know there was a couple new faces, so we got to refamiliarize ourselves with each other. But my name is Bernie. I'm with the IBEW. I've been an electrician for the past 18 years, and I'm a representative now, and I go and speak to individuals, especially students. Today I was actually at Rancho Verde High School in Moreno Valley, and talking to the kids to see if there's anything we can do to help. If they don't know where they want to go, then at least they know that they have an alternative pathway for a good career in the trades. And we just present to them what is available to them, and that's basically what I do on a daily basis. So that would be my report for the month, would have been the Rancho Verde participation.
That was very short and succinct. So my name is Terrence Davis. I'm coming to the end of my second year as superintendent. I've been in the area for 6 years in Beaumont Unified, and we're in the home stretch of our school year with Dylan. 7 weeks left starting Monday. And so Dylan is a senior, he'll be graduating, and that brings some excitement and anxiety at the same time. But a few things to report. Starlight Elementary, which is located on Cougar and Starlight, just north here, is coming along. Will be open for school. We're anticipating about 600 or more students. Our world language program that's housed at Palm will be moving there. Plus they will have you know, a typical community school. So we're really excited about that. I would ask you to drive by on Cougar Way. It's a beautiful, gorgeous site. And that's taken a lot of time and work and stress and all those other things to get to that point. Other project I want to note you or bring to your attention is we have a Summer Wind project that is on the west side of the freeway on the 60. So Cherry Valley Boulevard turns into what on the other side? I don't know. Tuquit Canyon. So there's a road that they're paving now. Actually, it's kind of already paved, but there's no access right now. So it's about a quarter of a mile down. and our board approved for us to move forward to do a K-8 school. And so that we're anticipating, I think it's 21-20 to start, so is that 3 years or so? So a lot of work still to do on that. We're meeting with architects to kind of design that school right now. So when we talk about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, we don't know what that's going to look like yet, but we're really excited about that. Our growth in the district, we are over 10,000 students. 6 years ago when I started, we were at, I don't know, almost 9,000. So we're in a rapid growth mode, which brings excitement and anxiety. Those seem to be words that I feel every day, yes. Our Palm Elementary School, since we have about, I don't know how many students that is, several students leaving to go to Starlight Elementary, we're going to, the board approved to move forward with a STEM program. So science, technology, engineering, math, which is going to be a TK through 5th grade program. So technology, engineering, that will be incorporated into math, English, every subject. So we're really excited about that. We painted Palm. So it's just right over here. You take a look at it, different colors. The staff that's been there for a very long time call it like an Easter egg. But, you know, they've gotten used to it. The kids love it. There's a mural on the inside of the playground, and it has one of the trees. Is it Deodora tree? Just beautiful. And there was an event there last week, attended families, and it was a great atmosphere. So we're really taking some pride in the things that we're doing and moving forward. Beaumont High School, single district high school, we have right now about 2,600 students. We started out the year about 28, and every year we kind of take a dip. And there's been a lot of concerns from students, parents, community members about when are you going to build another high school? So where we are right now is developing short-term, mid-term, and long-term plans in terms of what do we do now, what do we do in the midterm in terms of taking some students off and maybe creating some type of specialty school, AVID school, STEM school, career technical education school. We're working with Mount San Jacinto in that process, so we just had a meeting, so we're going to move forward to do something. But that does bring a lot of anxiety. But we're working on circulation patterns, so there's a lot of work to do with that. And then the last thing I just want to know, I don't know how many of you guys are going to the Unity Conference. It's going to be put on by Riverside County Office of Education. I think I brought the flyers in. That is going to be next Monday in Palm Springs. But the goal being to bring city members, actually I believe police chief and I think one of the officers and other community members will be coming with the school district. And the county is going to put on a presentation on how we work together to support our students from school to career. And so just really looking forward to the exciting things that are happening in our area for our kids and experiencing that excitement and that anxiety at the same time.
Is it Monday or Tuesday?
It's Tuesday.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, it's Tuesday. I think you're done. Yeah.
Okay. I'm Jennifer Higgins. I'm broker owner of Real Estate Masters Group. We've got 3 locations. I've been lucky to have been in real estate and survived for 18 years now. This year so far, we've seen a lot of new baby agents come out. So there's a lot of people choosing real estate as their career path. And I know I serve on the East Valley Association of Realtors. I'm president-elect for this year. I will be president for them next year. And we always try to develop lots of education so that we make sure that, you know, people with the right integrity and honesty are getting out there to take care of their clients. I also serve on Women's Council of Realtors, where we always just want to lift people up. So I may be tapping into some of you eventually to come and talk to us because we always look for great speakers, and this is such a great representation of everyone. If anybody ever wants to come, every Thursday morning at 8:30, we have a broker caravan that meets right across the hall. Thanks to the city for allowing us to do this for years now. It's a great location. We never have issues. We used to have pushback if we held it at a certain office that they were trying to recruit all their agents by having them come there. No, we're all just meeting. It's a great group if you ever want to come in. It's basically, we usually have between 30 to 35 people of different brokers and agents and some affiliates from around the area, all just trying to help each other and grow. So that's been good. I'm trying to think. Oh, I also serve on the Public Relations Committee for East Valley. And our main drive the whole entire year for that is to raise money for turkey, or we call it our neighborhood outreach, turkey outreach program. We have 4 locations that we do full turkey dinners at. One is back here in Beaumont. Last year, I believe it was 1,400 families that we served between Yucaipa, Crestline, Redlands, and Beaumont. So our main drive the whole entire year is just to raise money so that we can get more turkeys every year and get new locations. And I've served on here for a couple years now.
Well, hi, I'm Kim Stars. I'm the Chief Development Officer for United Way of the Inland Valleys. Our office is in Riverside, but we serve the majority of western Riverside County, so including the Pass area. Being the Chief Development Officer, I lead a team of fundraisers and development officers, corporate relations specialists, basically anybody who's going to go into a workplace and talk about philanthropy and giving and how that serves the community. Your United Way is doing some amazing things. I came from a smaller United Way in the desert before coming to this United Way, and this United Way in the last 12 months, we were #1 in California for campaign growth over prior year and #10 globally for campaign growth. So there's some really significant, amazing things happening, and that's really due to the partnerships that we have with local businesses and individuals who have a real heart for giving. We have a big event coming up, June 21st, our Day of Action, where we're mobilizing our entire western Riverside County to try to pack 100,000 meals to serve families throughout the region. We'd love to have you participate. If you want to know more about it, just ask me. And I serve on the chamber board for our local chamber of commerce, so I'm really interested on how kind of this group can kind of work hand in hand with the chamber of commerce to kind of connect businesses in innovative ways. But I love this community, fairly new. I really love this community. I really love hearing the things that are happening. I've got kids in world language program, so pleased with that program. And my office, my board chair, is going to Unity Conference with the school district. So it's really just been such a warm welcome. So I thank you for the opportunity to serve.
That's great. I'd like to talk to you about
Okay.
United Way.
All right, great.
My name is Kathleen Dietrich, and I'm Vice President of Priority Palette on 3rd Street, right here in Beaumont. We've been here since 2000. We love having our business in Beaumont. We love the community, and we know that our growth is going to be here. We have another location in City of Industry, and we need to grow. And that's in Los Angeles County, which is proving really restrictive for us. Not only that, we don't have nearly the space that we have here. So we are going to be growing in Beaumont. We are currently hiring. I think we, had talked about that the last time. And if you're really anxious to learn about what wooden pallet companies are about and how they contribute to the economy and society and to your community, I invite you to visit www.naturespackaging.org. I was on the marketing committee for that, and it really tells you things that you need to know about wooden pallet companies that, oftentimes we get misrepresented like we're killing trees. Well, we really truly have more trees now than we did back in the 60s. And a lot of that is because we do care in our country about sustainability, unlike other countries. Also of note is that we are SFI certified, Sustainable Forestry Initiative certified at Priority Pallet. We are the only pallet manufacturing company, us and our sister company, the City of Industry, in the country that have achieved that certification. So we do care about our forest. We're 100% recyclable. We love employing people, and we look forward to growth here in the City of Beaumont.
What was the website again?
Yeah. Nature's Packaging.
www.naturespackaging.org. There's a really cool pencil video on there, and it just gives you some cool information that we're updating all the time, so that we really are trying to change the mindset at the elementary school children level eventually about how we do not destroy our forest in the United States and how we are very proactive in sustainability. And so there'll be some good and up-and-coming stuff on that. And by the way, I love the IBEW. My son is was going to Cal Poly Pomona, and with 12 units left to go to get his engineering degree, told me he absolutely hated what he was doing in college, and went to, I believe, the Learning Center in LA. Is it Gardena or wherever it is at over there? Anyways, he's a general foreman for Morro Meadows and doing really well.
Good deal. It's
It's a good trade.
Yeah. Nice to hear.
I'm Rob Moran. I'm with the County of Riverside Economic Development Agency, and I've had the pleasure of actually knowing Kathleen for about 15 years. And one of the things that's important is not only they make pallets, and she was talking about recycling. When we had the bark beetle infestation in Riverside County, about 15 years ago, we needed a place to take that wood and get rid of it because it was just, there were matchsticks up in the mountains, and I think we had some fairly significant fires in San Bernardino County as a result of all the dead trees that were just kindling, really. And Priority Pallet was one of those resources, and through a federal U.S. Forest Service grant, we work with them to provide equipment to process the wood and reuse it and take something that was really a danger into a finished product.
Right.
So that was a really cool,
That is cool.
really cool project, and I think you still have some of that equipment on
Well,
site.
we still process logs, as you can probably see in our yard to this day. And like you said, we turn them into a value-added product. Everything that we manufacture, or every log that we process goes into a wooden pallet.
Yeah.
And we're still doing it to this day.
Yeah, so that was great. But one of the things I wanted to share, this is our Riverside County's second annual Riverside County Innovation Month. And it's a month-long series of events designed to showcase innovation and entrepreneurship in its various forms, whether it's someone who's making cookies out of their home kitchen for the swap meet to tech entrepreneurs that are developing new scientific applications out of UCR. And I think we've got over 60 events on the calendar for this month. We had our kickoff last week in downtown Riverside. One of the highlights of the entire month is we have a fast pitch competition, countywide fast pitch competition that are Shark Tank style. And there's 4 local competitions, one in Riverside, one in Palm Desert, Corona, and Temecula. And then the finale is at the end of the month, where someone will be crowned winner and second and third place. Last year, we weren't able to offer any financial resources to the winner. It was pride. And the feedback we got was, that's great, but cash is also very good. And so one of our cities, Murrieta, and kind of took the lead and crowdsourced it. And so this year, we're going to be able to offer $5,000 to the first place winner, $3,500 to the second place, and $1,500 to the third place. And that's a fairly significant jump from where we were at last year. City of Beaumont graciously sponsored that whole competition, and so without the council and the city leadership's participation, we wouldn't be able to do that. And the county's not the one leading this. This was actually taken on by one of the organizers of one of the events, and so it's nice to see this take hold in Riverside County. And we came up with this idea last year, and it's just really growing and growing every year, because it's a good thing for communities. It's helping. It's not about us celebrating what we're doing. It's about celebrating those that are in business, that have ideas, that you can. We thank you for doing what you're doing here, but there's an ecosystem in place that helps support you, so that a lot of times they know, oh, geez, I have this great idea. I didn't realize there's these network of other business owners and support system in place to help me do what I do. And that's really what it's all about. Say, you don't have to leave this area to start a business. You can do that here because we've got the support system. You don't have to go to LA or San Francisco or San Diego. And it's just been really successful. And rivcoinnovation.org is a website. There's a calendar of events there. While you're checking out Nature's Packaging, check that one out too. And so we're really excited. Thank you for your support. And Kyle's been terrific to work with. And it's not about innovation or entrepreneurship in one area. It's about everything that happens countywide, because we're a county of small businesses. So anyway, thank you. rivcoinnovation.org.
So, thank you. My name's Kyle Warsinski. I'm the Economic Development Manager here at the City of Beaumont. I think everyone pretty much knows me. I've been with the city for almost 12 years now, multiple different capacities. I find myself in a area that I really like working, and I appreciate working with each and every one of you throughout, whether it's this committee or interface with a lot of you during my normal day job and your normal day job. So it's kind of fun to come to this and work out some of these programs to help some of the other businesses that we don't necessarily interact with on a daily basis. My job duties represent meeting with developers, creating a network of brokers, landowners, people that are building things, and navigating the political climate that is California and trying to get businesses to invest and expand in the state of California, and specifically within the city of Beaumont versus one of our competing cities. So it's fun. It's something that gets me up in the morning knowing that we can try to accomplish good results here at City Hall. It's very nice to have a good working relationship with each of the departments here at the city. So as part of economic development, you need to know a little bit about each of the different departments you work with, or else in how not to make them mad, because they will be your strongest advocate or your biggest adversary. And luckily enough, I surround myself with really good department heads and staff here at the city that I'm glad to work with, and they make my job a little bit easier when I have to call in a special favor or ask them to expedite something. They're more than willing to do so, and I think we have a good culture here at City Hall on why that kind of fosters business here. Just to touch on a couple things that we are working on, Rob did say that we're participating in Innovation Month here at Riverside County level. If I would have remembered that the golf tournament was during Innovation Month, we would have coupled that on the calendar events, so I'll be sure to put that on my notes for next year, and to be able to help showcase not only the city of Beaumont, but the county of Riverside, on why we're not just a manufacturer or blue-collar county, which is what a lot of people in California think we are, is we are farmers or we drive trucks or things like that. And while that may be true at one capacity, we have a lot of startup businesses and tech businesses that have located in here. So our Innovation Month event that the city is actually sponsoring this year is on Monday, April 23rd at 6 o'clock here at City Hall. And because the city's just starting to get involved in these types of features, is we're creating a meet and greet in which we're trying to ask local startup companies or entrepreneurs that are starting up a company to come and meet with us as the city. We want to know who they are. We want to offer our services as well as our partner services, like Rob's department services, to these businesses that, if it wasn't for these types of things, may not last a year or two. But if we get them in, we get them access to capital, or we start linking them up with some of the researchers or mentorships at UCR, because they have a whole program there, we can get them in tune with what they want to do. And maybe they grow to the point where they move out of Beaumont, but at least we can hopefully land them in Riverside County, because we together have worked on fostering this business from the very beginning to wherever they're going to go. So that's kind of the idea for this meeting. Please, if any of you would like to attend, come on and meet and greet these individuals. You can also pass along the information if you happen to know someone that's starting some fun app or starting a tech company or just started their new business and they really are good at that, but they're not necessarily a great business person, or they're not sure how to expand or work to go next. Have them come talk to us, and we will provide them a lot of information. My goal for that event is to meet maybe 10 companies that reside within this pass area, and then figure out what they want, and then be able to create a series of events moving forward to help them gain access to those resources that we know. So that's really my goal. If we get 10, I'll be ecstatic. If we get 1, that's still better than none. So that's all I have. Thank you.
So I'm Dylan, the student rep for Beaumont High School. And one of the things that I was more or less proud of was, I believe, 2 meetings before last one, was I believe sometime around then, what happened was a field trip happened where it was for engineering, but it wasn't specifically based around like engineering classes, where instead school-wide, in all the mandatory classes, they went and they announced this opportunity for kids to go and take a look at the engineering opportunities and what these jobs were like. And as far as I was aware, I wasn't able to attend, but as far as I was aware, it went really, really well. And a lot of the people around me went and said it was really, really good and that they'd consider it. And I'd personally like to see more stuff like that because our school does actually encourage engineering quite a bit, where we have a pretty decent sized facility, and some of the stuff that they do is really sort of amazing and makes me regret not taking the class myself. So when I hear stuffs about internships with MSJC, you know, for kids going out of high school and stuff, I find that to be a really good opportunity too. And I'd like to just, since my job is, you know, focusing on the students at Beaumont High, I'd like to see it best that, you know, looking at that sector of the community while looking at the community as a whole, because, you know, not a lot of people go and think about students as such a big factor of the economy, but, you know, you have all these kids going and graduating and not knowing what they're going to do with their lives. And, you know, one little event can change their entire direction to going, wow, this is fun, this is interesting. I might consider doing this for a living. So, yeah.
Wow.
Very good.
Sorry, just getting some pictures of you, Dylan, so I can post.
Told me to get out of the
Yeah,
way.
okay. No, you're good. I'll post you too.
While you're advocating for your students.
So just as a comment, very articulate, passionate, positive, very knowledgeable committee here that's committed. Very impressive to be a part of something like this. So I know this, I think it started through member, and maybe, I know Kyle, you've been a part of this from the beginning, but I remember Councilman Orozco was a part of that. There were several that wanted to kind of move this forward with the council. And so again, we're almost at 2 years, almost at the end of 2 years, but accomplished things. That's great. So our next regular meeting will be Wednesday, May 9th at 4 p.m. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and adjourn the April 11, 2017 meeting at 5:44.